Hi, I'm Dan Locke. I'm the king of high-ticket sales, and I am one of the passionate few. I just finished an interview with Omar. I think he did a fantastic job. I've done probably hundreds of interviews, but I'm glad that he actually asked very, very deep questions and he went very much in depth. Actually brought back a lot of good memories. So he's a fantastic host. If you ever get a chance to be on his show, don't hesitate. Make sure you do it.
Today we get to sit down and hear the incredible story of entrepreneur, marketer, and sales expert extraordinaire, Dan Locke. Known as the king of high-ticket sales and one of the highest-paid consultants in the world, we sat down with Dan to talk about his story of growing up in Hong Kong and not wanting to deal with the 9-to-5 traditional status quo, but dealing with a lot of failures along the way to make that dream happen. Dan aimed at creating financial freedom for him and his loved ones, but had a lot of struggles early on that ended up taking him into debt to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And in this interview, Dan talks about what it was like to untangle that web and ultimately how he found the right mentors and mindset and skills and developed them to ultimately become the multi-millionaire he is today, inspiring thousands of people around the world to do the same in their own life. Dan is also the author of FU Money and has programs helping thousands of students around the world master their craft and become high-ticket sales experts themselves. You guys can check that out in the description below. And with no further ado, I want to encourage you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy this powerful interview, Mr. Dan Locke. Enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Passionate Few. Today we get to sit down with the king of high-ticket sales himself, Mr. Dan Locke. Thanks for being on the show today, Dan.
Thank you for having me. I feel like such a beautiful day. I feel like we're almost like on a date or something on a bench. I love this.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for being here today.
You're welcome.
So let's get right into it. A lot of people know about what you've done online, you know, the king of high-ticket sales and serving businesses and clients all over the world.
Correct.
Where did you get this? Where was the seed planted? Where did you grow up and sort of what was your childhood like growing up?
Well, I was born in Hong Kong, right? Mm-hmm. So I immigrated to Canada when I was 14 years old with no money, no connections, and couldn't speak a word of English. Mm-hmm. So you can see even when still today, I speak with an accent, a little bit of an accent. So my mom and dad, because they were having some issues, and so my mom decided that she didn't want to stay in the relationship. That's why we immigrated to Canada. And at the time I was so young, I was kind of like a punk kid.
Yeah.
I had no direction.
Yeah.
I was getting into fights and hanging around with the wrong gang of people and just always getting into trouble.
Right.
And so my mom and dad got divorced when I was 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, my dad went bankrupt in Hong Kong. Mm. He basically, his business partner took all his money and disappeared. Mm-hmm. And my dad signed everything as a guarantor, right?
Yeah.
Guarantees on it.
Man.
So left him about $1 million US in debt. Mm-hmm. And that wiped him out. Not just financially, but emotionally.
And you were living with him at the time?
I was living with my mom. Gotcha. My dad is in Hong Kong. And then I still always remember that phone call. At the time I was going to school. One day, at the time, my mom and I, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment. Wow. Okay, in one of the worst neighborhoods in Vancouver. Wow. So I remember my mom would stay in the bedroom, I would sleep in the living room, right? So on the floor, basically. I remember one day after school, I went home, door was locked, and I knocked on my mom's door. She was on the phone with somebody. I didn't know who, but I heard that she was crying on the phone. And I was like, hey, mom, is everything okay? I was like, oh, no, everything's okay, don't worry about it. And afterwards, basically, I found out that she was on the phone with my dad. Mm. And my dad basically told my mom he went bankrupt. He couldn't send us money anymore. Because at first he was sending us some allowance, right? And my mom is a very, very positive, happy person. Like she's like one of those people that she's friends with everybody. Like has no enemies, right? Just a sweet person. So, and I'll never forget the face of my mom, like that facial expression, just so hopeless. And she was like, now what am I gonna do? I've been a housewife all my life. How am I gonna raise this kid with no money, with a little bit of savings that we had?
And she wasn't working at that time?
No.
And you're 16 at this time as well?
Yeah, 16, 17 about, 17. And from then on, I said to myself, I don't care what the fuck I have to do. I don't want to see that face on my mom anymore. Yeah. That I don't care what it takes. I don't care how hard I have to work. that's I think the turning point. It planted a seed